Yo, 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 it's Big Ant, the spokesman, man. We back. Another edition of Urban Politicians TV, UPTV. Make sure you stay on your pivot at all times, man. Had to come tap in. We live right now, daytime live stream. YNW Melly's trial started today. And we're gonna come tap in and keep it updated. This is gonna be on Law and Crime Network. I don't know everything that's going on with this case, but there is 2 people lives lost in this situation. So I do want to send Juvie condolences, send his family condolences, man. They going through with this loss still. I want to say this. I'll make this clear, bro. We gonna watch this in real time today, and it's gonna continue to go on. I don't know how many times I'm gonna cover this, but we don't know everything that's going on with it. All the facts ain't out. I ain't been up to date on everything. I'm watching in real time as y'all, but it's people who family, they got family they lost that they love, bro. So I do want to just keep that 1,000, man. It's a tough situation, man. Hold on real quick, y'all. Let me get something straight real quick. Hold on just a second. Hold on real quick. Cut this up for y'all. I'm gonna go in and out and speak on things as they present things to us. But hold on, just a second. This is on Law and Crime Network channel too.
They are the same, Your Honor.
Okay.
They'll be admitted evidence.
Case being review March 21.
You may publish.
Thank you, Your Honor. Starting with the first image.
So the photo template, the initial photo that was taken with the chart, photograph in the scene.
And is this still under the same 18-10-06269 case number?
Correct.
And what date again was this done on?
November 21st, 2018.
The next photo, what are you showing here?
The location or establishing shot of where the scene is.
What direction are you facing in this photograph?
Yeah, let me before everything going, I'm gonna catch it back up. I do want to send condolences to Sack Chaser and Juvie. This is coming from 2018 when they were both shot and killed. That is something that is confirmed no matter what happened here or didn't happen. There's 2 young brothers that lost their life and their families are still mourning that, and even seeing this case, they reliving that again. So I do want to send them condolences, man, and God bless the souls of Sack Chaser and Juvie, most definitely, man. So here we go. Catch up. Now this is somebody that was part of the investigation right here.
Further on pictures, the power lines that we see on the right side, that's the south side of the road.
Can y'all see it here
And there are
good?
no power lines on the north side of the road.
That is correct.
Okay. You indicated that there were other investigators on scene as well.
That is correct.
Is this some of the canine officers you were discussing?
Correct.
So again,
Saw that with Fredo earlier. We'll
eastern
discuss some
direction
things on the break.
on-
We'll discuss some
focusing on the
things.
south side of the road. Can you describe to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury some of the yellow and orange markers and what they're there for?
Yes. So the yellow and orange markers are there to help depict items of evidence that can't necessarily be seen as they are leaving covered by the shrubs or the grass.
So moving on, what direction are you facing in this photograph here?
Facing towards the west.
And so at the end of this street here, what road is this?
On the end there is US 27.
The items that we see here, the flags, do they correspond with a photo marker or are they indicating something else?
So they may be corresponding with the, they have a photo marker next to it, but they depict the actual pieces of evidence.
So going on to this next photo, again with the power lines looking at the south side of the street. How many items did you indicate with photo markers on the south side of the street?
7.
So on the north side of the
I
street, how
started
many
to say
items
something about
did you indicate with photo
2015,
markers?
so I don't know what this is about.
Do they continue
We'll
in
see, hold on.
sequential order?
Yes, they do.
1 through 7 is on the south side, 8, 9, and 10 on the north side.
Correct.
Can y'all see it here clearly? Let me know
And
something.
showing 8, 9, 10 on the north, so I'm gonna go back
Can
to
y'all see it
item
clearly? Can y'all hear it
number 1,
clearly?
back on the south side.
I
Can
ain't
you
seeing the same exact
describe
thing y'all
what
seeing,
we're
so
looking
let
at
me
in
know.
this photo here with photo marker number 1?
Yes. So the shell casing, that's
That particular item,
that is correct.
was this item collected?
Yes, it was.
Dang.
Why do you take multiple photographs from different angles of these items?
Just to get an overall picture of a specific item, and then also accounting for lighting or better visibility of them.
And the glass appearing object underneath the casing, did you collect any of that specific glass right there?
I do not believe it.
Why not?
I think after discussing with the investigators, did not believe that it was in reference or pertaining to the case.
Did it have any characteristics of auto glass?
Objection beyond the scope
If she
of
knows.
her expertise.
First, establish that she may know something about this.
So investigator Curry, part of your training in crime scene, is it determining what evidence may be something that would be flagged?
Yes,
In terms of the facts of the case, is that something that you're familiar with and you familiarize yourself with to know what types of evidence may exist?
correct.
For glass and
What you
glass,
mean, chopper bitty?
and
Copper bitty
identifying
type, what you mean?
potential sources of glass or other items that may be cutting into your diamond.
Yes, I do.
With regards to the glass in the Jeep that was found at the hospital, had you had the opportunity to view that Jeep prior to November 21st of 2018?
Yes, I have.
The glass that was in the Jeep, was that consistent with the glass that is there in this photo marker number 1?
No, it was not.
Moving on to photo marker number 2. What are we looking at in this particular image?
So the glass fragments that are in the glass.
Going
Nah,
now
the
to
verdict won't be
photo
today.
marker number 2, the next image. Can you describe to ladies and gentlemen how you're taking this photo?
So it is considered a close-up photograph of the.
Okay, they just talking about the photos real
It's
quick,
at,
so let me
90 degrees.
I'll let y'all real quick, man. We live for the people coming in. We gonna let it play. Right now they discussing the shell casings that are on the scene. And she's kind of like just questioning for the, you know, this how they do things. They're gonna question you about the shell casings, how they collected them and things like that. These are the markers that are on the ground. This is one of the investigators that was on the scene. They had glass on the ground also here. It was kind of crazy at first. They said something about 2015, but this happened in 2018. So I don't really know what's going on, but I didn't know why they brought up 2015. Maybe she joined that part of the investigation in 2015. And you good, and you represent Texas well. Shout out to Chris King. Shout out to everybody that's here, man. We're going to let some more play. Got to come holler at y'all every once in a while. Any questions or anything? What I saw today, there were several things that hit. They grabbed something from either his Instagram story or his Snapchat, and where the lady, the prosecutors are claiming that he admits to doing this. They're using something from his Instagram or Snapchat story where they supposedly say he did this out of his own mouth. That's what they claiming he said. I did this. I did it. Then there's also been mention of him calling Fredo Bang and asking Fredo Bang to come pick him up afterwards. This is what they said in court. It touched every blog today. They gonna have cell phone towers to ping. It's nothing to get a warrant for his cell phone and get those things traced. This is the age of information. All this stuff is documented. When you on social media and you upload or you press record, you think you might be sending it to throw it away, you do delete it. But it's all getting backed up to a database. So anytime you use your phone, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, all of these apps that we use on our phone, just because you deleted out your phone, it doesn't go anywhere. It's just deleted off of your physical. But in the air, it's still there. Man, y'all didn't even tell me the echo was on. So right now, she's just going over the shell cases. So that's why I'm talking right now. For people that are just coming in, I'm speaking right now. They just talking about the shell cases on the ground. We finna get right back to it. But they have said that he's posted things and deleted them. And they can always retract that. Know that. So be mindful of what you take pictures of in your phone and you say, you record. Once you put it on a platform, once you hit record on your phone and you put it somewhere, and if you hit record and you press stop and you upload it to an app, it's going to a database and it will be in that database forever. They can always pull it back up. But let's get it though, man. Let's get back to it. Here we go. YNW Melly Case Live. And if you don't want to hear me talk, you can go to Law and Crime Network. That's where this is at. Shout out to them. They get a lot of good stuff. But I got to talk through mine. I can't just record they shit. Like, I ain't going to do that. I got to speak. I got to give feedback. I got to give a message. We got to have some convo about this shit, nigga. You know what I'm saying? We got to. That's what this is about. You don't want no commentary? It's on Law and Crime Network. I ain't going to hold you up. But I'm going to get back to it. They just going over the shell cases right now. Let's go.
Measuring or a detective utilizing a measurement device.
And what is that measurement device?
It measures distance. It's a yardstick or meter stick.
Studio 56 podcast. Tonight we're going to talk about it some more. Right here, Studio 56 podcast. The Morpheus facts. She is the investigator on the scene, y'all. I want to give feedback anyways, like just outside of the copyright shit. I have to put my stuff on it. It's just what it's here for. Bring it to the people so they can understand more what's going on. My nigga Poke in the building, Studio 56 podcast. We're gonna talk about it some more tonight.
YNW.
Probably stay on here about an hour or so. We live tonight at 8:30. We're gonna be talking about everything. Live tonight, right here on this channel, 8:30 Studio 56 podcast. Is it too loud, y'all? They ain't saying nothing right now, but this shit seems loud as hell. And all this evidence they got, supposed to be evidence. They ain't got the mic on right now. Look at this thing. This YNW Melly. Now I'm gonna cut it down just a little bit, y'all.
Notion works for us at Particle because it is a way to track.
I don't
all
know what
aspects
they're
of the
doing
project.
because they at the bench. So hey, until they come back from the bench, until they come back and resume, because they at the bench right now, let's tap in. For the people just coming in, this is YNW Melly case. Rest in peace to Sack Chaser and Juvie. This is from 2018, South Florida. Okay, it might be getting back started. This is the investigator on the scene. They've been discussing the shell casings and everything like that. So
2018.
That is correct.
What is that item consist of?
The glass fragments, that's, all of the glass fragments that were obtained.
oh, I fucked up, y'all. My
There are
bad.
5 samples of glass fragments. that
My
are
bad.
contained.
That is correct.
And that you recognize your seal, ID number, and sign you on that.
Just think, don't leave.
With regards to
Here we
that,
go. We
is
should be
there
back.
anything else on there that was not on there when you last sealed it?
Yes, there is.
The yellow sticker here, do you recognize that?
No, I do not.
Here at this time, the state of request and the state's WN.
Very good.
Yes. Right. She doesn't recognize the seal on that particular item.
Okay, anything else?
Incorrect statement as to that. It's there.
Excuse me, anything else, Mr. Peterson?
No, sir.
Objection to overrule. It'll be admitted.
States W, we mark states 22.
Moving on to what's been marked as state X for identification purposes. Joint counsel.
What's number?
The investigator grant notion has been previously marked as states X for identification purposes. Do you recognize those items?
Yes, sir.
What do you recognize them?
My writing on the packaging as well as my name and ID number, my ID number at the time.
And are they in the same or substantially same condition as when you collected them on November 21st of 2018?
That is correct.
Are they sealed?
Yes, they are, sir.
Now, at this time, the state requests to move state X in.
No objection.
It'll be admitted.
States X will be marked states 23.
So investigator Curry on states 22 and 23, did you photograph those items?
Yes, I did.
So I'm showing council what's been previously marked and reviewed as states composite Y, a USB, and 9 pages of photographs. Of course. Investigator Curry, I'm showing you now what's been previously marked as states composite Y for identification purposes only. Do you recognize that USB and those 9 pages of photographs?
Yes, sir.
Do they fairly and accurately represent the documentation that you did of states 22 and 23 that is now in evidence?
Yes.
And at this time, the state requesting that states Y and as
Any objection?
No objection with the same proviso. The USB is the same as the photograph.
That's the representation.
yes, right.
Thank you. It will be admitted.
Okay.
States Y will be marked states 24. So plus 1 USB composite and 9 photos.
So starting with what's labeled as image 76, if you could just briefly describe to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury the case number that's on there as well as the number marker.
Yes, so the case number identifies, it's in reference to the same case that these items were collected in regards to. The item number pertains to the photo marker that was in the photographs of the scene.
Prior to photographing in processing these on November 27th of 2018, did you do an in-back filter?
Yes, I did.
Can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what is an in-back filter?
So an impact filter, it's used to collect any type of DNA or any additional information utilizing a test. The impact, the impact system itself uses a filtered item. So any type of DNA that is collected off of the item that's being tested is filtered and put onto a filter that is then tested and sent out to a lab.
And so, Investigator Curry, do you have training and experience on when it is appropriate to try and collect DNA from items?
That's correct.
In this instance, did you walk the jury through, please, the process of how you did the in-back filter collection?
With the assistance of the additional crime scene technicians, after collecting the item itself, it is then submerged in distilled water. A machine then spins the item. In this case, it was the spent casing. It spins the item. The water then absorbs whatever that DNA or whatever particles are on the item that's within the water. And then after that, that water is then filtered through a kind of like a cotton swab.
They grab any DNA on
cotton
it?
ball, and the remnants or whatever DNA or whatever additional items are filtered through that cotton ball and then sent out to the lab to be analyzed.
Can you see the DNA on there with the naked eye?
No.
Do you know if it's successful or not at the time you finish completing the filter?
No, we do not.
Going forward back to the photographs, you have a number 1 on here.
That is correct.
What does the number 1 correspond to with regards to the previous photographs you just looked at?
It corresponds to the yellow photo marker that was within the previous photograph.
Do you photograph each casing from all sides and angles?
Yes.
That's some crazy
that's
shit how they
item
do
number
that
1.
shit.
3 photos of that.
They got some real high technical shit that y'all can see.
Now,
Spent casing identified as.
This is why niggas who do this type of stuff wear
with
gloves.
regards to the writing that's on the back of each of these spent casings,
You'll mostly only see like
Were
straight
they all
niggas wearing gloves and
consistent
killers
with one
wearing
another?
gloves and shit.
Yes, they were.
and
Because
what
they know that
type
this is a
writing
part
or
of the
markings
process.
were on each of these casings?
Or niggas who,
40 S&W.
because normal people ain't gonna put
As a
DNA on their
crime scene
shit. I mean, they ain't
technician,
gonna be worried about gloves.
What does
They ain't worried about
laser
DNA.
40 S&W
But
mean?
hopefully you don't get put in this position before where you have to do this type of stuff.
As well as paper.
Use your guns for protection
Move on to
only,
item
y'all.
number 5.
Protection only.
In these photographs,
Spent casing.
Innocent until proven guilty still though.
were
I
there
wanna
more
be
than
clear
one
about that,
item
just speaking in
at photo
general.
marker number 5?
Yes, there was.
It's hard to beat these
Moving
type
on
of
to
cases
photo
now,
marker
man.
number 6.
Spent casing.
Again, was there more than one spent casing at photo marker number 6?
Yes, there was.
Moving on to photo marker number 7, what are you documenting in these photos?
Spent casing.
Moving on to photo marker number 2, what are you documenting in these photos?
Glass fragments.
Photo marker number 3,
Glass fragments.
photo marker number 8. Now we're back on the north side of the road. Is my recollection correct on that?
That is correct.
Okay. And photo marker number 8,
Glass fragments.
photo marker number 9,
Glass fragments.
and photo marker number 10.
Glass fragments.
So going forward, after you photographed these, I want to go to your investigation when you were in Margate, Florida, with regards to this case very briefly. Did you assist with a search warrant in Margate, Florida?
Yes, I did.
Did you collect any evidence there?
Yes, I did.
Were any firearms collected? With regards to that specific location in Margate, do you remember where it was?
Yes.
And where was that?
Don't remember the specific address, but it was, near, the university.
Looking at, is there anything that would refresh your recollection as to the specific address?
Referring to my report.
And that's what we need to know why that is, okay? Just read the first paragraph silently to yourself, and let me know when your memory has been sufficiently refreshed.
Refresh.
Okay, and so what was the address of that?
5700 Toscana Place, apartment 07.
While you were at that residence, did you make contact with any individuals?
Not to my recollection.
The search warrant and the photographs that were taken at that, you said there was no firearms recovered?
Correct.
Was there a storage unit key that was recovered?
I would have to refer to it.
If I may, would that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
And then the sixth paragraph, if you just read that silently to yourself. So was there a storage unit key that was collected?
Yes, there was.
Was there mail collected from that location?
Yes, it was.
The individual that was named on the mail, who was that?
Janelle Demons.
With regards to later on that day, did you
That's
then
YNW
focus
Melly,
on the
real name,
execution of a
Jamel
second
Demons.
search warrant?
Yes, I did.
The second search warrant at a storage unit location, did you recover any firearms there?
No, we did not.
His name is Jamel Demons. That's his real name.
So I'm going to show you what's been show counsel.
Hey man, y'all gotta know, nigga. I don't know, bro. I wasn't there. I can't solve the crime, bro. I'm only gonna go off of what the facts that they present. I got a platform, man. I can't get on here and be making predictions and shit, bro. I wasn't there. I didn't see it, and I don't want to be wrong in this type of shit because it ain't my business to be wrong. This is why they have investigators like her right here. This is an investigator. Detectives, lawyers, judges. Just gotta see. Yeah, his last name is Demons. That's a fact. His last name is Demons.
So I'm showing you what's been previously shown to defense counsel as state in record identification as state's composite Z.
They're not using any lyrics in this song.
How do you recognize those items?
And it's trial to my knowledge. Not using any. As of right now, they're not using song lyrics. They haven't used it.
And do they are the same or substantially same condition as when you collected them on the October of 2018?
Correct.
Here at this time, the state requests to move states Z in a composite of 3 items.
Is there any objection?
No.
It'll be admitted.
States,
Positive 3. What's the number?
state C is positive 3 items. It will be on.
Shout out to everybody coming in. This is the YNW Melly trial for day 1. Been locked up since 2018. About 4 more months. October would be 5 years.
State Z.
5 years he been locked up on this.
Is there so plans to open that and publish those items?
So send it to my boy. Send it to Studio 56, man. Work with him on. No, hold on, my bad. Send it to my bro on the music blast. Send it to Studio 56 podcast.
What the items are.
A clear bottle cup, rubber leaf packaging with a registrar inside, and Florida identification card for Anthony Williams.
And where were those items found?
Found at the hospital, retrieved from the hospital.
The items there, they're in the same condition?
Yes, they are.
With regards to what's been previously marked for identification as states AA, do you recognize that item?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Impact filter from the spent casings from the US 27.
And how do you recognize that?
With my markings, my writing, as well as my batch number and the date on seal.
Is that in the same?
Shout out to
same
BG, free
condition
BG,
as
should have
when
been free
you
BG.
packaged it and processed it in November of 2018?
Yes.
Your understanding is that you're requesting the states AA and the states 26?
No objection?
No, no, sir.
It'll be admitted.
States AA marked 26.
So Investigator Curry, with regards to suspect narcotics, if they are found, are those collected?
Yes, they are.
Did you collect any suspect narcotics in this case?
That's my recollection.
Is there anything that would refresh your recollection as to that?
Yes, my report.
If I can approach and have a copy of the property receipt, okay, sure. Would that help in assisting you?
Yes.
Okay. Can you explain to ladies and gentlemen of the jury what is a property receipt?
Yes.
Mic good, audio good, let me know. Mic check, audio check, too loud, too low, let me know something.
Obtained or collected.
Is that something you document at the time when you were collecting the items?
That is correct.
Looking at that property receipt, are you refreshed as to your action if you collected any suspect narcotics?
That is correct.
Did you collect any suspect narcotics from the person as Christopher Thomas?
Yes, I did.
And what was that?
Cannabis.
Okay. And that item, was it packaged?
Yes, it was.
Do you have the ability to test suspect narcotics at the Miramar Police Department?
Yes, we do.
In terms of, is it analysis for a chemical certainty or is it a presumptive test?
It's a presumptive test.
Additional testing for any such information as to what that substance was, what agency does that, to your knowledge?
Sent out to the BSO lab.
So after you conducted the documentation, all the photographs, how do you preserve those photographs?
They are burned to a disc, whether CD or DVD, and stored in our evidence facility.
After you did that in this case, did that conclude your involvement in this investigation?
Yes.
No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Counsel, can I see sidebar, please?
All right, they airing us out for a while they at the bench, so we'll tap in real quick. Hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Okay, they already done. That's when they don't want us to hear what they saying. So while they at the bench, we'll chop it up real quick. YNW Melly is over there. Okay, they already ended their little meeting. Hold on. Last time it was a little bit longer. My bad.
The attorney's approximately cross-examination, so my thought is based upon conversations I had with the attorneys, is probably the best.
It's going on 5 o'clock in Florida.
So remember the admonition, do not discuss the case, don't form any opinion about the case going out, and you want to discuss the case in further, research about the case. Just leave your notepads on your chairs, got everything goes up, and we'll see everybody back. Now we're gonna start 15 minutes later, 9:15 tomorrow. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night.
It's day one, y'all. That's It's day one in the books. So that's day one. Let's go back and see if they keep the live stream going. They probably might have clipped some stuff up. We'll go through some key stuff today. I'm pretty sure they clipped it already. Shout out to Law and Crime Network. They be putting the good stuff on there. That is day one in the books. Let's go see if they put any of these key things, and they did. For the people that missed out earlier today, the things that they are using, and I want to once again say condolences to Sack Chaser and Juvie, man. Juvie and Sack Chaser, young brothers. Can't confirm what happened, but we do know two brothers are deceased. So this is where they're claiming that he put "I did that shit" in either his Instagram story or his Snapchat story. So let's go to that part real quick. This is on Law and Crime Network. For the people that just coming in, the court session has ended today. They pick it back up tomorrow.
He killed Christopher Thomas and Anthony Williams. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to set out the story and how this unfolded and lay out what I expect the evidence will show during the course of this trial. First thing you are going to hear is that at 4:35 a.m. on October 26th of 2018, Cortland Henry, a co-defendant, shows up at Memorial Miramar Hospital. In his car, he has two dead bodies. In the front passenger seat is Anthony Williams. In the rear passenger seat is Christopher Thomas. They are dead, they are riddled with bullets, and the car is full of blood. Christopher Thomas is sitting in the rear. There is multiple defects to his body. Anthony Williams, who is sitting in the front, has two major injuries. Officer Jessica Amangor is working a detail at the hospital. Cortland Henry runs in, starts telling a story about a drive-by, quote-unquote drive-by. Cortland Henry, and you're going to learn a lot about Miramar geography during the course of this trial, tells a story that he and his buddies, just the two that are in the car, were at a music studio here in downtown Fort Lauderdale at 805 Northeast 4th Avenue. He's going to tell law enforcement, and you're going to hear this statement. You're going to hear the actual audio of him telling law enforcement, "We were at the recording studio. We drove home," as they lived out in West Miramar. You're going to hear Cortland say that they come across in the path of travel, that they're getting off the highway on I-75 southbound to go west on Miramar Parkway. And you're going to hear that on Miramar Parkway, sometime between 160th, which is also commonly referred to as Dykes Road, and 172nd, Cortland Henry says they were shot at. That he ducked down, and you'll see him doing that in the video, and that he didn't see any car, he didn't see any people, he has no information, and that he quickly went to the nearest hospital. So you're going to learn that when you go on Miramar Parkway and you take that right at 172, Memorial Miramar is just about 1 mile north. So the distance between most major intersections in Broward County is 100. So you're going to learn that from 160th to 172nd, 1 mile. From 172nd to the next major intersection on Miramar Parkway, 184th, 1 mile. So you're going to hear and find that Mr. Henry's statement that the car is traveling westbound on Memorial Parkway, then goes north on 172nd and shows up at the hospital for the drive-by is completely and utterly false. How can I tell you that, ladies and gentlemen? Well, the detectives from Miramar at this point shut down the entire length of Miramar Parkway from 160th to 172nd. And they sit and they walk side by side for an hour that mile-long stretch, looking for evidence of this drive-by. Because evidence is the remnants a crime leaves behind. And in this case, the lack of evidence is very important. There is a lack of any evidence whatsoever to support that a drive-by happened on Miramar Parkway. What would they look for? Shell casings, glass fragments, projectiles, tire marks. You're going to hear that there is none of that found whatsoever. So then they say, well, maybe we have the time frame wrong, maybe we have the location wrong. So they walk an additional mile from 172 to 184th. Still nothing. No broken glass, no projectiles, no fire casings. Detectives know they have a Jeep that they are looking at the Memorial Miramar Hospital that has 16 easily identifiable bullet defects. That has a broken out rear view window and 2 broken side windows on the passenger side. Things aren't adding up. So detectives work backwards. They are then able to determine that 805 Northeast 4th address is a recording studio, and that the recording studio is equipped with cameras. And ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see footage from both inside and outside of that recording studio. You're going to learn that on the morning of the 26th at approximately 1 p.m., detectives went out to the recording studio to try and see if somebody had followed the victims, to find out how they knew where they were going to be to set up this drive-by. In the video, that is the first.
This is it, folks. 4th and 1. No timeouts. Johnson.
This is on Law and Crime Network, y'all. Go subscribe to Law and Crime Network.
First time detectives learned that there was actually 4 people in that gray Jeep, and that the defendant, Jamel Demons, is in the rear driver's side seat. So let me set the scene for you at the recording studio, because there's actually 8 young men there. You're going to hear they arrived at the recording studio, not much was getting done. They were tired.
Excuse me.
They left at 3:19, and they got into 2 vehicles. So first vehicle is a red Mitsubishi SUV. In that red Mitsubishi SUV, 4 individuals get into it. Travion Glass, Dontavius Withers, Jacoby Mills, and Adrian Davis. They are in the red Mitsubishi. In the gray Jeep, you have the driver, Cortland Henry, rear driver's side passenger, Jamel Demons, Anthony Williams in the front seat, and Cortland Henry, again, the driver, Christopher Thomas in the rear. What you will find and what you will hear, ladies and gentlemen, is that this gray Jeep leaves the recording studio, goes over to I-95, takes I-95 south to 595, 595 across to I-75 south, I-75 south to Miramar Parkway. You're going to see traffic cameras from the Department of Transportation that show the cars going across 595, one after the other. In those videos, you're not going to see them stop. And it's just a small portion of which is covered by cameras on that. But then what you're going to see is the cell phone evidence. The digital leash. The item that is carried around in everyone's pocket, in everyone's car, used on a daily basis. Because you're going to see, as Jamel Demons leaves that recording studio, he's got his phone in his hand, and he's playing on his phone. You're going to see on that phone information that Anthony Williams had his phone with him. And And the interesting fact that's important to keep in mind is Anthony Williams, the deceased in the front passenger seat, and Jamel Demons, who is the shooter, in the rear driver's side passenger seat, have the exact same make and model of cell phone. Not only do they have the same make and model of cell phone, they are on the exact same cell phone plan. They're using the same service, the same cell towers, everything like that. So you can compare the information from those two cell phones and see how they track together. Christopher Thomas, who's the deceased in the rear passenger seat, he had his iPhone as well, and he was on the Sprint service at the time. In the other car, that red Mitsubishi, Dontavius Withers also had a Sprint service cell phone. So ladies and gentlemen, you have individuals in two cars and all of the cell phone tracks together, going across 595, going until they get to Miramar Parkway and 184th. At 184th, the red Mitsubishi goes south, and you will then see it at 3:50 a.m. going through the guard gate at Sunset Lakes. That was the gated community in which the individuals were all living at the time of this homicide in October of 2018. On the Sunset Lakes guard video, the red Mitsubishi goes through, the gray Jeep doesn't. The gray Jeep instead goes north and then proceeds to go to the actual scene of the homicides. The gray Jeep goes north on 184th up to Pines Boulevard. From Pines Boulevard, it travels west all the way to the edge of the Everglades, where it is desolate, where it is dark, where there are no witnesses. The gray Jeep goes down south on US 27 and turns left on Pembroke Road. You're going to learn that Pembroke Road does not connect through. That right there, Pembroke Road dead ends at a trash facility. That at that recycling facility, you're not going to see people. You're not going to see activity. There's no street lights. And at 4:02 a.m., Jamel Demons exits that vehicle and stages that drive-by. Because ladies and gentlemen, remember, at this time, Miramar is going and working backwards. They're looking for communication to figure out how and why and how the location of this Jeep was known, why they would be targeted. At that point, there is no communication. You're not going to see any sort of phone calls, any sort of text messages going out, setting up any sort of meeting at the edge of the Everglades at 4 in the morning. What you are going to find is that after the surveillance footage is brought up, some of these other individuals say, oh no, we stopped. We stopped the car and Mr. Demons on the side of the highway got out of the gray Jeep and got into the red Mitsubishi. But ladies and gentlemen, it's important to know and look at the details.
With AWeber's marketing
My
platform,
bad, John.
it's like Drew has a whole staff helping him grow his audience.
My bad.
Details. Because the details don't match up. One person says, oh, it's at this location. One person says it's over here on the side of the road. Look at what the physical evidence shows, and that's what I would suggest to you is the most reliable things. So on the physical evidence, the Jeep is towed to the Miramar substation, and a search warrant is executed on it. And at that point, officers, crime scene technicians, and investigators start going through the contents of the Jeep. And all of the ballistic from the drive-by are all coming from the passenger side in towards the driver's side. And then from the rear of the vehicle, forwards towards the front. The medical examiner's office is also conducting an investigation. You're going to hear testimony about the autopsies that were conducted on Anthony Williams and Christopher Thomas. And this is when the suspicion, the investigation takes a turn. Because at that point, the fatal wounds for Christopher Thomas and Anthony Williams are coming from inside the vehicle, from the rear driver's side passenger going out towards the passenger side. The other interesting thing the medical examiner's office is going to tell you is that when the drive-by was staged at 4:02 a.m., the victims were already dead. The medical examiner will be able to testify and tell you that the fatal shots to Anthony Williams, to his head, that enters in the back of his head and exits at the top, blowing out the front passenger window, was fatal. And that the additional wounds that are consistent with the trajectories going through the vehicle, he's already dead. They are post-mortem inflicted gunshot wounds. The same for Christopher Thomas. You will hear from the medical examiner's office, Dr. McDougall and Dr. Souter, who conducted the autopsies, that Christopher Thomas was shot in his left cheek. That was the fatal shot for him. You're also going to hear about stippling. Stippling is unburnt gunpowder that's ejected from the front of a firearm when a bullet is fired. The best way to describe that and make it easy to understand, you have a handful of sand, soot, and a golf ball. You throw it, the golf ball is going to go the furthest because it has the most weight, the most mass. The sand weighs a little bit more than the soot, so it's going to go a little bit further, but not as far as the golf ball. The ash, the soot, has almost no weight, no mass, therefore it can't have any energy put into it, falls very quickly. So that is the same principle that comes to gunshot residue and the powder tattooing that you're going to hear about, the stippling. The bullet travels the furthest. The gunshot residue, the powder tattooing, the stippling, creates a pattern. And from that pattern, the medical examiner's office can give an approximate distance. Why can they not give an exact one? Because their firearm in this case was never recovered. Law enforcement made diligent efforts to go and dive multiple canals, search multiple areas, apartments, storage units. They were never able to find the firearm. So without the actual firearm that was used in this case, you can't accurately and reliably recreate a distance determination. Common sense, ladies and gentlemen, the things that you learned in elementary school science about conducting science experiments, they apply just as much now as they did then. You have to minimize the number of variables. That's the only way to get an accurate experiment. So if you don't know the type of gun, you can't minimize the variables to get that distance determination. So what you're also going to hear is while law enforcement is going through that Jeep, they find one spent shell casing for a .40 caliber firearm. Why is that important? That shows a gun was fired inside of that car. You're going to hear that at once the location of US 27 and Pembroke Road was discovered, law enforcement goes out to that area as well. And there they locate an additional 8 shell casings, .40 caliber. But the interesting thing about that is that doesn't happen on October 26th of 2018. This happens on November 21st, almost a month later. Because that's when law enforcement gets the reliable cell phone tracking data that they use to determine that's the area that they need to be searching. Because at that location is where the cell phones of Christopher Thomas, Anthony Williams, and Jamel Demmons all line up at 4:02 a.m. That point, afterwards, Mr. Demmons' phone tracks with the 2 victims until about 4:20. So 15 minutes before Portland Henry takes the victims to the hospital. During those,
Before notion
Damn,
what
my
you
bad,
got
y'all. I
on
know
this
y'all
part is your
mad. I
lowest
need
point.
to put
And
that
now
shit
we
on this
use
account.
notion to
Put that skip shit on this
30
account
minutes,
too.
we're going to hear as to where the path
Oh,
went. You're gonna hear that law enforcement then searched that path again, looking for trace evidence, such as firearms. They didn't find it. But you're also going to hear that Janelle Demons, on the side of the road, made a FaceTime video chat.
This is the key thing I wanted y'all to hear. This is what they're claiming. We're gonna see how it play out, all the facts, but this is the evidence they claim that they can prove and show during this trial. So we'll see it come up at some time. For the people that's just coming in, this is on Law and Crime Network. This is where she claims, and this is what they saying is in evidence, they're gonna show it to us. These are the prosecutors at the scene that they saying the murder happened at. She's saying this happened.
During those 30 minutes, you're going to hear as to where
Oh
the path
shit, my
went.
bad.
You're gonna hear that law enforcement then searched that path again, looking for trace evidence.
Hold on real quick, y'all. My bad. I tripped that. Hold on. My bad. That's on me. I tripped all the way out. Be patient with the boy real quick. We back. All right, let's get it. My bad. Here we go. This is the key thing that happened today that they claiming is a big piece of evidence, and there's other things too.
Such as firearms.
They got them on Law and Crime Network.
But you're also going to hear that Janelle Demons, on the side of the road, made a FaceTime video.
They made FaceTime.
At that point, he starts setting up the story. He FaceTimes his girlfriend at the time, Mariah Hamilton. Mariah Hamilton gets the phone call and screams, waking up her mother, Felicia Holmes. Felicia Holmes also sees the defendant, Janelle Demons, on that FaceTime video call. And you're going to learn, ladies and gentlemen, that that's a data event on a cell phone. It's not a call for the purposes of the cell phone companies. It's using data, accessing the internet. Felicia Holmes and Mariah Hamilton see Janelle Demons outside, and he is saying he's just been involved in a drive-by, and he thinks Anthony Williams and Chris Thomas are dead. So what you're also going to find out is while Mr. Demons is out there on the side of the road, 4 in the morning, 4:42 specifically, he sends a drop pin, digital homing beacon, to his current location to one of his friends, Frederick Gibbons. Frederick Gibbons is also involved in the music industry, and he asked to be picked up. Frederick Gibbons then, about 11 minutes later, is sent another drop pin where Mr. Demons has moved a couple of meters. What you're going to find out as well, though, is these digital leashes, they have more than just phone calls, accessing the internet. They have health data. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to find and hear and be able to see the videos at the recording studio and see Mr. Demons taking steps. Lo and behold, look at the health activity data, a pedometer, a step counter, that's what it is. 70 steps. Then you're going to see at 4:02 a.m. another 70 steps. Then at 4:42, the time frame in which he's sending that drop pin to 4:53 a.m., you're going to see 1,397 steps. You will see this data showing the defendant had the phone and was using it. So, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that I have to prove is the defendant committed a crime. And to do that, the state intends to show the evidence that the phone was there at the murder scene, and there were no other phones there. There is no one else out there at 4 in the morning. So to do that, the state has to convince each and every one of you that this was the phone of the defendant. You'll see in the messages and the contents of those messages him identifying himself. This is Melly, giving out that phone number to multiple people as being his phone number, 772-713-9807. And to further prove that, the state is going to show you the Instagram, the Facebook, the Snapchat. Because contrary to popular belief, Snapchat doesn't disappear.
Here we go.
And detectives were able to write a search warrant and get contents of Snapchat. And there are things that are there, and there are things that are not. And so, ladies and gentlemen, specifically, the Instagram, the defendant, during the course of the months of October of 2018 through December of 2018, gives out his phone number 15 times. Says, this is me, and all during the same time frame of October 26th of 2018, he's giving out that phone number. So one of the other elements that you heard about initially was that this was committed by a criminal gang member in furtherance of a criminal gang. So what you will learn from the evidence, from the Instagram, from the private messages, was that Jamel Demons is a member of the G Shine Blood set. This is not a stage personality. This is not an actor that's playing a character. This was his real life. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see that as soon as October 24th, 2 days before the homicide, Jamel Demons is learning the oath of loyalty to the G Shine Blood set. You're going to see things in these messages that will be indicative of blood membership. For example, anytime a word
Damn, y'all, my bad.
would normally be spelled with a C, as in Charlie, they don't use that. They replace it with the letter B. So instead of saying, I'm at the crib, they say, I'm at the rib. Why, ladies and gentlemen? Because C is associated with cribs. B is for bloods. So if you look through all the messages, you will notice time and time again, Jamel Demons is dropping C's and using B's. And you're going to see pictures, you're going to see videos of the defendant doing something called stacking, which is a way to show a gang affiliation and to broadcast it to the world. And this is not just in music videos. This is not just in lyrics, because we're not going to get into that. That's artistic expression. That's not why we are here today. We are here because the defendant murdered 2 individuals. So in summary, the last thing I want to tell you that the evidence will show is that in the Instagram, because the defendant had a moderate social media following at the time of these events, people are reaching out to him. Some fans, some friends, some associates. You'll see on October 26th, after about 8 a.m. in the morning, Eastern time, multiple messages are coming in. Messages are coming in from individuals checking to see if he's okay, if he's been injured in this drive-by. If it's true that Anthony Williams, who's also sometimes referred to as Sack, and Chris Thomas, who is referred to as Juvie, are really dead. One individual, and specifically, sends out, and I want to quote the message exactly that you will hear, and says, right after this, yo, homie, you good? let me know something. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is where context matters. What does that mean? If you work at Google and you say, my whole floor is coding, that's a good thing. If you work at Broward General Hospital and you say, my whole floor is coding, that is a bad thing. The context around the messages matters. So in the context of this message, this individual is reaching out, asking if Mr. Demmons is good after he's been tagged in multiple social media posts about this drive-through, this shooting. And Mr. Demmons responds very succinctly, I did that. Shh. Ladies and gentlemen, at the conclusion of the evidence, the state is confident that you will find the defendant guilty as charged of the first-degree murder.
So she's saying they went to Instagram and put, I did that. He's looking at the death penalty. They changed, the judge approved the ruling that it does not have to be 12 out of 12 in this case. Normally it has to be 12 out of 12 to agree on the death penalty for you if you found guilty. 12 people have to agree. 12 of the jurors out of the 12 jurors normally have to agree on your death. For you to die, I guess, in Florida, lethal injection. I'm thinking it's all lethal injection. Fuck, I fucked up again. Damn, my bad. Terrible, man. I'm terrible. Hold on. Get it together. My bad, y'all. We're gonna get it together. So, there's so many layers to this shit, man. I'm trying to figure something out. Hold on. Let's go back. This is Law and Crime Network we on. So we'll show y'all, Boosie showed up to court today. Boosie did show up. We'll show that real quick. Couple of little more things. I got some stuff I need to do. We got the Studio 56 podcast. We're going to discuss this a little bit on now. I like to let all the facts come out before I get to speaking on this shit like all the way because I don't like to play and speak on niggas' lives. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a nigga in the courtroom. I'm not an investigator.
Wrap up telling us what's going, and that was not intended to be a pun. I know you're smiling. What's going on in that courtroom? I know you have to get back in, and I know I will be seeing you later this week. Thank you so very much.
We got a few. This is just day one. A lot got spoke on day one. They spoke on Fredo Bang. They spoke on Fredo Bang. Said Boosie showed up to support. That's what the title say. Rapper Boosie showed support for YNW Melly. Try to find that part where he's there. My bad. I seen where Boosie had a picture or something like that.
Beef with anybody to cooperate with Bolton's story that it was a drive-by.
Very, very interesting. Well, Bryson, thank you for that this week. Thank you.
Kind of iffy about.
There was a shell casing found inside the car, so they are saying that eliminates the drive-by effect. I don't know.
I guess I would say
we gotta wait and see how all this shit play out, man. I'm gonna let them tell y'all. I ain't making no guesses. I ain't saying nothing.
Even just as different testimonies were being given.
I gotta keep. Oh, fuck,
opening,
my bad.
Statement from
my
the
bad
prosecution.
again, my bad.
Once the names of the two victims were mentioned, even with them just being called brothers, best friends, or whatnot, the families of the victims would be inconsolable and often have to walk out.
It's always hard for families of the victims if the defendant, no matter who's on trial, whether he's innocent or whether he's guilty. But speaking about the defendant, was his family there? And if they were there, can you tell us about their reaction to day one of the trial, Bryson?
Actually, yes, all his mother, brother, grandparents, all of them were in attendance, and they all were as calm as he was, I would say.
Wow, very interesting, because that must have been something that the attorney must have told them to remain calm no matter what. But while the court is on lunch recess, we know that the prosecution is getting ready for more witnesses. What can we expect after the lunch break?
We'll continue with the third witness.
All right, let me go to another part for everybody real quick. This is day one for anybody coming in. My bad on the mess ups.
I want to keep my family safe.
Oh, shit. It's been a long day, long weekend, long night.
Avatar, The Way of Water. Now
I'm too lazy to put the other shit on here to skip this shit, so we cool. But yeah, though, this is on Law and Crime Network.
Doctor, we believe achieving. I'm publishing now, Pembroke West entrance.
This is the entrance into the hospital, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Earlier.
This is them coming into the hospital. They saying that they was shot in a drive-by.
Those doors. In the middle is the two doors of the ER.
Seeing on the screen right now. What are we seeing on the screen right now?
So this is the sidewalk portion I was telling you about. Immediately on the bottom left corner of the screen, which is those white dashes, that's where the cars drive through. The dashes are for when the see pedestrians is walking across into the yard. Then there's a sidewalk portion, and these are the two doors of the ER. The left door on the left side of the video is the ER adult entrance, and the right is the pediatric entrance, but it's one big area. And then in the middle is the park bench. Right behind that glass is security desk. I'm sitting in the middle of both of those doors.
And that subject that we see in the video,
That's the gentleman that the person made.
continuing to publish. I'm going to pause the video at 4:36 and 11 seconds. We see a second individual in the video frame. Can you recognize that person?
Yeah, that's me.
Publishing, continue. I'm gonna pause the video at 4:36:51. Is this where you indicated to us earlier that you had him sit down, Cortland Henry?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you can't see the Jeep in the video frame, is that correct?
Yes.
The Jeep would be located at the bottom left, my left of the
Yes.
screen?
Yes.
Okay. And I noticed that you approached and you were talking to something. What was that?
That's my authority.
Okay, was that your, how you were able to request assistance?
Yes, ma'am.
Here's the Miramar Police Department stuff.
This shit wild. So the police then came now. All right, let's go to the other clip. This outside the studio. What you call it in there too? Okay, Portland is in the courtroom too. We'll go to that for a second. Just kind of want to give y'all a little scope of what went down day one. This is outside the recording studio. From what I heard today, the one thing that is missing, and I can't confirm, I don't want to be wrong. Supposedly, I can't confirm, I don't want to be wrong, but supposedly they don't have a motive. They don't have a motive that they can present as this is the reason why this happened. Or why they would do this. Let me say that correctly. They don't have a motive of why they would do this.
Yes. All right.
This is supposed to be right before it happened. They leave in the studio. I think they blurred it out because they didn't want to have that on there. So that's right when they left. We'll go to the part real quick where they talked to Borland at right here. I didn't know that he was in court today too. He was actually out on the bond. He's not charged. I don't know exactly what they charged Borland with. Oh, this was probably the interrogation. This is the part I seen earlier today.
Well, I'm telling you, that's I mean, for whatever reason, your two friends died. Are these your good friends? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Are these your two, I'm assuming close friends? No. And you're doing them in service. They're not telling us the truth. I'm telling you the truth. I don't like how. What do you want? How do you make shell cases disappear? I don't know. I cannot tell you about a shell case. And I'm driving, begging for my life, trying to make sure I don't get it. And you telling me, you don't work, you telling me about this. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure I don't get it. I'm driving. I'm trying to make sure I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be worried about it. You know what I'm saying? I know it's not for you to worry about, but if you tell me it happened there, there's gotta be some evidence there. There's gonna be broken glass, just like there's broken glass over here when you guys open the doors and stuff like that. Okay, there's gonna be broken glass over there when the windows got shot out. There's gonna be casings from the people shooting at your car. Okay, there's gonna be evidence over there. Okay, right now, there's nothing. Okay, now, I think I know what happened because I got information that something else happened. on the east side of the city in Pembroke Parks, but, you know, which sounds similar to your thing, but you need to be straight up with us, okay? Listen, I know you may be maybe you're scared, you know, but like Mark said, you're doing your friends a disservice. We can't do our job. I'm telling you straight up, like I can't. What can I like tell you? I'm ducking for my life. My head's over here, steering wheel's here. I'm trying to make sure I'm like, you know what I'm saying? But like I'm keeping the cautious by hitting me, you know what I'm saying? I'm God, this shit fucked me up, bro. Let me ask you this. I'm like how you looking? What you got? I'm like looking for a car? No, yeah, no. I'm trying to. Well, you know, let's just forget about where it happened. Let's just put that on the back burner for a while. Let's talk about why. Have you had an issue with anyone? I mean, we are upcoming artists and stuff, so technically, like we have been having like, you know what I'm saying, like people like, you know, when you like start doing better than people, they start hating and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you had some jealousy issues. Yes, like jealousy issues, but but also like it's crazy because people they didn't try us. You know what I'm saying? They talk like on social media, you know what I'm saying? But they see us and you know what I'm saying? It's easier for them to talk shit on social media than it's your face. You know what I'm saying? So who's been talking shit on social media? I haven't really been on it, but like my friend that's passed away now, so he was telling me like, right, he always telling me how you just like today he was telling me some folks on my way. But he was up your way, like girl, you know what I mean? Like that's why.
So he saying, you know, hey man, I don't know what's going on. The shooting happened. I ain't get a good look at nothing. I'm ducking for my life. So didn't get an identity on the car. They trying to question him about evidence, what went on, why was there a shell casing in the car. He's saying he don't know. Very possible. We're gonna keep it all the way 1,000. Somebody shooting the car up and everything, or shooting at y'all. But we gotta wait and see, man. I don't want to be wrong here. I'm not making no predictions. We'll be back tomorrow to update and make sure there ain't no more other clips to speak on. This is on Law and Crime Network. If y'all want to go get caught up in everything, I might stream again tomorrow for it. I just got to see how it go. Nah, I'm gonna be busy tomorrow. Let me not lie to y'all, because it's gonna be going on in the daytime. That's 9:15 in Florida. It's gonna be 8:15 if you're in Texas. Cali, that's gonna be set 6:15. So if you're in Cali, West Coast time, they'll be in the courtroom again 6:15 y'all time tomorrow. I don't know how long this trial is expected to last. YNW Melly is facing the death penalty here. So I'm guessing Bortland's case will be done differently. YNW Bortland.
Quick hydration.
I do want to once again send condolences to
Real high.
Juvie and Sack Chaser's entire families. No matter what this storyline is, man, they deceased, man. One of the biggest, hottest, newest, talented, upcoming artists right here, man. YNW Melly facing the death penalty. We've seen rappers go to jail and shit before, but the rate that this is going at now is fucking crazy. The amount of cases and legal shit going on with rappers right now, bro, is crazy as shit. Let me go back real quick. See if we clipped everything covered. Didn't see Boosie on there. I guess they just said he was in there. Okay, let me give a little peep. We're on here real quick of Melly's defense.
Prosecutors are given great power.
This is Melly's defense right here.
To perform their mission of pursuing justice. But that's not what occurred here. What they will bring you is a case.
Listen to this for a little bit, y'all. I'll be right back. This on Law and Crime Network. This is YNW Melly's lawyer defending the incompetentness of the case, if I'm saying that right. He said it's incompetent. It's investigation.
The state cannot prove beyond a reasonable doubt the allegations that they have made. And there is a reason for that. If you recall, Ms. Bradley, some of you may recall, during jury selection, going to great lengths to let you know that she does not have to prove motive. And she's right about that. The law doesn't require her to prove motive. But you know what does require motive? A young man to wake up one day and decide that he's going to kill two of his best friends. Best friends that he grew up with, best friends that he hangs out with, best friends who he lives with, best friends whose careers he was trying to launch alongside his own. They have no reason for why he would do this, because there is no reason. And if there's no reason, it doesn't make sense. And if after 4 years of investigation, the state comes and says, hey, he killed two of his friends, his best friends, and you're wondering why, and their answer is, oh, I don't know. That's the first indication that they're just guessing and don't know what they're talking about. And that, ladies and gentlemen, by itself is reasonable doubt. Why he would commit such a heinous crime against his own two best friends for no reason.
The motive is big.
What happened here is that the lead detective, Detective Moretti, saw a video of Mr. Demons getting into a car 40 plus minutes before bodies were found in that car.
I can already hear him. Oh, shoot. Hey, what's good, Favor? Oh, shoot. 45 minutes, dog? Hey, you the man. Hey, Favor's here.
Favor, the food delivery app Texans love.
And then he discovered that Mr. Demons was a rising star. From that point on, he decided he's the only person that could have committed this crime. Because if you're involved in prosecuting a star, you become a star. This was his big break. And he had tunnel vision. He zeroed in on this person, this young man, as the only possible perpetrator of that crime, to the exclusion of all other leads and evidence. There's a difference between cases that are investigated and cases that are fabricated. When a case is investigated, the state uses all its resources, its investigators, its experts, and all its energy to identify leads and run them to ground. When a case is fabricated, first a target is chosen, and then the state uses all its resources, its investigators, its experts, and its energy to run that target into the ground. That's what occurred here. And there's a reason why I say that. There are a number of leads that you will discover that were identified by the officers, but were either completely ignored or given short shrift. I'm gonna let you know, run through a few of them by way of example. Start with the most obvious one. Cortland Henry. Ms. Bradley started her opening statement by describing some of the lies that he told, as though to impute them to Mr. Demons. Those were not Mr. Demons' lies, those were his lies. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car, 2 dead bodies, car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, gunpowder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in the pocket, not Cortland Henry. There were 3 phones in that car. There were 3 people in that car. So they take him at his word, despite suspicious circumstances, and they let him go on his way. They soon discover that he's lying about the location of this incident, and they went back to him, and they labeled him a victim. And they said, we know you're scared. Tell us what happened. He lies to them again. They let him go. And they know where he went. They know the location that he went. They know the house that he went to right after. And any investigator worth his salt would have thought to maybe execute a search warrant on that location to see if you find any bloody clothes.
So we'll get back into this, man. This is day 1. Now this is part of a defense. This is on Law and Crime Network. Y'all check that channel out. They got a lot of dope cases and stuff like that on there, and information of things going on in the world, not just rap, hip hop, urban. They solving all type of nationwide cases, and they basically have a live streaming and news network that goes inside of the courtroom. Yeah, he said, so basically he's saying this is YNW Bortland. Bortland came up there and he came with the lie, not Melly. He came in with the change of clothes, not Melly. He didn't have a cell phone, not Melly. So why? Because his job is to protect his client. His job is to represent his client. So I didn't watch this whole thing right here, and I got to get to some stuff. Y'all go look at the rest of this on Law and Crime Network to see what else he actually had to say in this situation right here. But he's saying like, hey, man, the other guy, he taking everything off of Melly like it was other people involved, and it's several other leads, not just him. You could have went to other leads and checked this out. So we'll see. It's going to be a trial. It's a lot going on. Once again, condolences to Sack Chaser and Juvie. Their entire family, prayers up to them. These type of things ain't going to never be easy. These type of things gonna be rough. Melly is facing the death penalty. 8 out of 12 have to vote yes. It's normally 12 out of 12, but they approved the 8 out of 12 in this situation. We shall see, man. We'll keep y'all updated. Wild case, man. I just suggest anybody going through something. I don't know anything about this. I don't know what's confirmed or what not. I would keep myself out this situation, bro, if possible. No, I don't know what theirs is with their situation. We got to wait till all the facts come out. But if you were faced with, are you thinking about doing something in this nature that they are accused of? Because we have seen where these things went down before. Stay out the way. Don't get involved, nigga, because this how it always end up. This how it always end up. Niggas in courtrooms, niggas in cages. Niggas facing death penalties, capital murder charges. It's real out here. So tell me what y'all think about it, man, in the comments. If you ain't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be live. We'll touch back on this a little bit more tonight. Studio 56 podcast around 8:30. About 8:30 tonight. We're going to cover everything as much as possible going on in the rap game. Studio 56 podcast channel. Go subscribe over there as well. Studio 56 podcast. Go back over there. Urban Politicians TV right here live tonight, 8:30. Y'all come tap in. Trying to keep y'all updated as much as possible. I've been going live a lot lately on the channel. Damn near every night. Been going live. So we shall see, man. We shall see how everything plays out. Gotta wait. Everything get confirmed. I just stand on that. This is media. I have to be because I have a platform, right? It's not about me being a journalist. I tell y'all all the time, I don't even consider myself a journalist. I do things that journalists do. I don't consider myself a blogger. I just do things that bloggers do. I am operating and working in the field of blogging and journalism and media. And because I operate in that field, I like to wait till all the facts get presented as much as possible, bro. Because I don't get nothing out of being first. I like to be right. There's been a lot of talk lately about niggas coming to me over these last few months about this and this and that and what time a nigga dropping in, who doing it first and da-da-da. I don't give a fuck about being first. I want it to be right. I'm going to speak on what I want to speak on, but I want to speak correctly because I like to raise awareness to what's going on. I like to really have these type of conversations. And like I tell y'all, I would be talking and paying attention to this stuff anyways when it comes to rap, hip-hop, black sports, urban media, culture. This is my life before niggas was even walking around taking pictures on cell phones, nigga. Y'all see the magazine clippings on the wall. This shit is from a kid. Like, I didn't go buy these magazine clippings and shit once I started YouTube. This shit all over. This is XXL vibes, sources, things of that nature. This is the type of shit I do. This is how a nigga live, just covering rap and hip-hop, and I like to keep it respectful, man. So we'll see what happens, man. Yeah, I'm a school bus driver, Don Ferris. I work at UPS, too. This is a UPS shirt. Everybody tell me this is a UPS shirt. School bus driver. Also, I'm a mechanic, shade tree mechanic. Also, I'm a maintenance man. All the above, nigga. We doing whatever to get the check that's going to keep the lights on. I'm out of school on my school bus job right now. I decided to take the summer off. I worked all year, man. So I'm finna chill with y'all this summer so we can work. But make sure y'all tap in tonight. Everybody that's here, come back around 8:30 tonight, maybe 9. Just check. Studio 56 podcast. We covering everything. Y'all come get that feedback. Show love to the channel. Studio 56 podcast. I want y'all to go subscribe to that channel also, because we're going to be running the live streams over there. We're going to be having clips and all types of things coming. Make sure you stay on your pivot. 1,000.